Hey guys, so in this video, I want to teach you how to make a double influence shield that you can use if you want to try to hit socketed gems, have 30% increased reservation efficiency, and recover life on block. I'm playing Righteous Fire. This is a shield that I need to use so I can use even more auras, and I had to learn the process, so I'm going to share it with you right now. One thing to note is that this shield does not have to be double influenced. Actually, we're just going to use a bit of a shortcut by adding the second modifier. And the reason is the Shaper influence has the ability to roll socketed gems, have 30% increased reservation efficiency, and has the ability to roll recover life on block. So you might be asking yourself, why do I need the Hunter influence? It's a fair question. And the reason is the Hunter influence allows you to deterministically just add that reservation efficiency without trying to fish for it. Okay, so step one, it's really simple. Find any shield that you want. I'm going to recommend Pinnacle Tower Shield because it has a good amount of life and has the highest armor on a shield in the game that I want, but there are options out there. So in the description of this video, by the way, I'm going to send you some links that you can use to just look at shields and see what's right for you. So step one, let's assume that you have a good base shield that you want to use. And for me, I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to be using, if I go to my shields, I'm going to use a Pinnacle Tower Shield. Now, I want you to make sure that the shields we're using here are item level at least 84. And the reason I want you to have 84 is that gives you the access to tier 1 resistance on your shield. So if we get the option of adding fire resistance in this process, and we do want to roll fire, we can hit the highest possible. And since we're Righteous Fire, that helps us heal a lot. Also gives us good fire resistance. So here we go. We've got the base shield that we want. Doesn't really matter what the modifiers are yet. We're going to be changing that, and that's okay. So we need one shield that's going to be our Shaper shield, and we're also going to go for another shield here, which is going to be a Hunter influenced shield. Now, the base process I'll explain quickly. We're going to take a shield, we're going to add the Shaper's influence to it. So let's do that right now. To get the Shaper's influence, there's many ways of doing this. I'm going to go the fastest process, which is either kill the Shaper or use Faustus. Now, using Faustus, I'm going to search up something called Shaper's Exalted Orb, which is new to this league. So Shaper, right? Shaper's Exalted Orb, but I'm going to buy this with Chaos Orbs. So it's going to cost me about 78 Chaos right now for this. Not a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and buy that. The whole goal here is that we're spending less money than it would cost to buy it in a trade site or forge it if we're playing solo self-found, right? How do we do that? So if you want to obtain the Shaper's Exalted Orb, you have to kill the Shaper and he'll eventually drop it for you. If you're in the trade league, you can just use Faustus or kill the Shaper, it's up to you. So here we go. I'm going to try to add the Shaper's Exalted Orb to my shield. If for some reason I can't do that, that's because all the modifiers are full. I just have to use a Scouring Orb and like an Orb of Alchemy to reset that so I have an open modifier to use. So now that we have this item, Shaper's Exalted Orb, we right click and we apply it to our Pinnacle Tower Shield of at least item level 84. Bingo. Now we have a Celestial background or a Shaper influence shield. We know that because it has the Shaper influence inside the name. So far, so good. Now, the next step, there's many ways to do this. We could either use a Hoarder crafting station to reforge life, or we could use fossil crafting, which is, I think, a little bit cheaper. So let's check this out. Again, we're going to go back to Faustus, or we could be using Delve. So I'm going to be looking for something called a Primitive Chaotic Resonator. So Prim Chaotic Resonator. And I want to buy maybe I want to buy like 10 of these. So I'm going to put 34 Chaos up, buy 10 of these bad boys, done deal. And then I'm also going to use a very simple Pristine Fossil. So Pristine Fossil, not a big deal. There it is. It's going to add more life modifiers and less defense modifiers. This is going to cost me, let's say 36. And so I can buy 10 of these bad boys. Not a big deal. Overpay a little bit, but now I've got 10. So the next step is we're going to use these resonators to just get recover life on block, but I only want one Shaper's influence modifier on it, okay? So let's go ahead and roll this up and see if we can get that to happen. I'm going to make 5 of these by holding shift. I just kind of drag the stack down, then I hold shift on Pristine Fossil, and I drag the stack down, okay? I'm loading up all these Primitive Chaotic Resonators. I just have it under Resonator, and I just split the stack. So we're now going to right-click on this and apply it to our shield until we get Recover Life on Block. Oh, perfect. There we go. Wow, that's actually a pretty solid shield. Damn. So let's hold Alt. We have of Shaping. Perfect. So we have the of Shaping modifier. That's fantastic. And there's no other Shaping modifier. This thing's ready to rock and roll. It actually rolls kind of nice. It's actually pretty sweet. Moving on, though. Let's keep it nice and clean. So since I don't need any more of this, I'm going to clean up my inventory. Life is good. Now, I have to put this over here. I'm out of room. All right. So I've got my Shaper shield. Life is good. I'm going to clean it up a little bit because this will be my primary shield. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure it has 20% quality on it so I can feel really good in life. Okay, cool. Now we're all set. The second step, or I should say the second shield, is pretty interesting. So I went ahead and I purchased a Hunter's influenced shield already. And what I did is I just went to the website. I went to the trade site here and I just searched really quickly. I wanted to find, and I'll show you the filter here. So I went to pathofexile.com/trade and I wanted to find any shield that was a non-unique shield that had the Hunter influence on it and was item level 84. And then I hit search and they're coming up pretty cheap. They're about 4 Chaos a piece. That's fine. And the nice thing is that it already has the Hunter influence. So I don't have to pay like 1.7 divine, 2 divine for that Hunter's Exalt. But if I want the Hunter's Exalt because I'm in an SSF experience, all you have to do is go ahead and fight the Hunter. And so pretty cool thing. I'll show you in the maps. As of 3.26, if you don't have any Hunter maps or anything like that, because let's say you have one of the other Guardians, you can use the Orb of Horizon to like roll it up until you actually hit a Hunter map. And then you can fight the Hunter, and if you're lucky, he'll drop you his Hunter's Exalted Orb. And it kind of looks like this. So it's going to add the Hunter influence to a shield. It has to be a shield because we're going to be using an item called an Awakener's Orb that needs us to pair 2 things. Hopefully I'm not going too quick. Let's go ahead. We made a Shaper shield. It's got 1 Shaper influence. We've got a Hunter influence shield. Now I'm going to use like a really cheap method here. I'm going to bring this back to my currency tab. And what I'm going to do is I'm now going to scour this down. I'm going to make it magical, and I'm going to keep rolling this until I hit 30% efficiency, just like this says. Socketed gems have a 30% increased reservation efficiency. So let's do that. Let's use our alterations to hit this until we get 30% reservation efficiency. We're going to do this until we hit only 1 Hunter modifier. Okay, well, that went pretty quick. So we nailed it. So now we have 1 magical shield that has the socketed gems have a 30% increased reservation efficiency. We have the shield that has the Shaper, which is the shield we want to use. Shaper influence, Hunter influence. Now we're going to use something called an Awakener's Orb. So we're going to go to the exotic here, and we're going to grab the Awakener's Orb. What this is going to do is destroy an item, and it's going to apply the Hunter influence to the Shaper influence. It's going to combine them, which is why we can't just roll Shaper, because you can't add a Shaper influence to a Shaper influence. It already has that. So let's go ahead and deterministically crunch these 2 shields together. I right-click on the Awakener's Orb, I click on the shield, and I put it into my Shaper shield. Just like that, we are done. And our shield is basically ready to rock and roll. So I'm not entirely happy with the way this shield is. I know there's a few more steps I could do to make it better. First things first, let's go ahead and at least use a Blessing Orb to make sure the implicit life is max at 30. So here we go. Over to our stash, we're going to click on the Blessed Orb, taking 25 max life and setting that to 30 immediately so we have like at least that completely done. 3-0 and we stop. Okay, cool. Now the next step I want to do is I'm going to take this to the menagerie and going to do a little bit of beast crafting. So I'm going to be using something called the Wild Bristle Matron to lock all of my suffixes down, the reservation, the life on block, and then my lightning resistance, which I can turn into fire later. And I want to try to reroll all my prefixes because I really don't like what I've got. So here's how we're going to do that. Simply, we're going to grab, if I have any extra here to show you, this. You're looking for a Wild Bristle Matron beast. Now I've already got a couple, so I'll go to my waypoint. I'm going to go to the menagerie. We're going to go to the petting zoo, and I'm going to take this shield that I've got. I'm going to go ahead and send it right to the blood altar, excuse me. I control click, I send it in, and in filter recipes, type in the word matron. Okay? This is going to add a crafted meta modifier to a non-unique item. It's non-unique. We're going to go ahead and craft. Okay? Now we have to do a beast fight. We got to fight that Wild Bristle Matron. And once we kill the Wild Bristle Matron, we're going to get our shield back, and all of our suffixes now can actually never change in the next craft that we do. Suffixes cannot be changed. Now, this is kind of the exact same thing as using your crafting bench to say suffixes can't be changed. The only difference is the economy and the rate. The matron to purchase and use this way cost about 90 chaos orbs, where the crafting bench costs about 2 divine. So if you want to buy a bunch of matrons because you're going to get into crafting, you want to try it, I'd recommend you do that. So now that we have this meta mod that says suffixes can't be changed, let's go to our hideout and mess around with that Hoarder crafting station. So I want to add life to my shield and try to get like a T1 life roll or something better. I'm going to use Faustus here to purchase some more life force because I don't really have enough right now. So I'm going to type life force, okay? And I'm going to grab some wild crystallized life force and let's see what it goes for right now. I want to use some chaos for it, so 27. Okay, so I'm going to spend like 10 chaos to buy 270 wild crystallized life force. And there we go. I've got a little bit, okay? I'm going to take that, toss it in my stash, and we're good to go. Not that I have to do that, but it's all good. So I click on my Hoarder crafting station. I toss the shield in, control left click. I'm going to type in the word life. So I get one shot at this. So I want to reforge my rare item with random modifiers, including a life modifier. But remember that the matron says our suffixes can't change. So now we know we're going to reforge this. We're going to get life somehow. Let's see what we get. I click craft and immediately look what we got. Our shield looks like we got, if you hold Alt, you can see that we got maximum life. Wow, 3. That's kind of gross. It's increased max life. And I got some armor on there. So increased max life, kind of not what I was looking for. And if I have a peek, it looks like I do still have a prefix open. So I can do this again. As long as there's a prefix open, I can matron reset and keep doing this until I get a shield that I'm happy with. So I'll do this a few times and we'll see what we get. Business as usual. Back to the hoarder crafting station. Let's reforge life. Takes all of 2 seconds. Control click, type in the word life. There you go. Reforge a rare item with life mods. Go. And now you can see if we check it out again, we got armor and life, and we got increased block chance. But our recover life on block and our reservation efficiency isn't going anywhere because those are suffixes they can't change. So this part's kind of pricey. It's about 90 chaos a pop, like I said, but I'm going to keep doing this until I get something that I like. Now, this isn't where I want to be. Again, tier 2 or 1 life would be kind of nice. My fire resistance is only going to stay at about 17 because I didn't get a good suffix on that, and I'm not willing to go any further on that side with the suffixes. I'm happy with it. So let's go ahead and do this a couple more times, see what we get. Okay, so this one's kind of interesting. I did hit the life percent, which is the hunter modifier, which is to say the basic shield prefixes still exist. So if I use the benchcraft now to block mana, I have a very high roll of hitting life, just natural life. And I'm going to try and do that now. Whatever I get, and that's kind of like the way the shield goes. I do have to change lightning over to fire, so let's make sure we do that. So we're going to type in the word lightning, okay? So I want to change a modifier that grants a lightning into a fire. So I do require just a little bit more life force. So let's buy just a little bit more of that off Faustus. Or I could run harvest if I wanted to. So I'll type in the word life force. Done deal. 266. That makes sense to me. So we're several chaos in, more than I'd like to be, but I would say that it's fair to say that we're still very much under the 30-40 divine, but we don't have like the tier 1 fire, we don't have tier 1 life, so we're kind of somewhere in the 10-15 div range, but we're still less than paying 10 or 15 div for the shield. Let's continue, okay? So, Hoardercraft, pop it on in. Again, lightning to fire, so type in lightning. I want to change a modifier that grants lightning resistance to a similar tier that grants fire for 500, no problem, 500 purple sauce, and we hit. Bingo. Now we're 12 fire resist on that bad boy. And now I'm going to use an exalted orb right now to try to add another modifier. Now this is totally RNG. I have no idea what I can get. However, what I do know is inside all of my options, if I were to look at, as an example, all the modifiers that could exist on shields, right? Have a look at the shield weights. So on PoE db.tw, you can see these are their weights that we're likely to hit something. So life is looking really good on a strength-based shield. We should hit that. Armor is also an option. If we check out all the way down to our shaper prefix, it's unlikely that we're going to hit that. If we check out our hunter prefix, we already have max life, so this isn't on the list. We can't roll that. It's just between totems, which is low, and any of these other prefix modifiers on our shield. So if we're lucky, we're going to be getting numeric life, and because we're level 84 on the shield, you check this number, that gray button, that means that's the required item level. So we can hit 159 on life. That'd be vigorous. That'd be kind of nice. So this is where we cross our fingers, a little bit of RNG, or let's go ahead and exalt. What do we get? We hit 130 life, fantastic. But we kind of knew that the weight should fall into our favor, but sometimes it doesn't go that way. And we still have one more exalt open because we're not going to leave mana there. So let's go ahead and see what we want to do. Inside our shield, let's check this out. What's our options? What looks good? I could exalt slam one more time, and I could hit like increased armor, and likely that we're going to hit armor. That could happen. I could hit armor and life, but it's unlikely. We're probably going to hit armor if we go. So I kind of want to guarantee myself to have a little bit of armor and life, and I could just benchcraft that last little bit for myself, and I think that I will. If I look at all my different options, I'm pretty sure I'm content with this, and I'm going to do that. You could also do +2 level of socketed support gems. Doesn't do much for us. So to wrap this sucker up, I'm going to go with increased armor and life 21%. Toss that sucker in there, and that is the shield that we're going to use. I want to put the ribbon on the shield, so I have to make sure that it has the right colors that I want and everything's all connected so I can actually use it. We want to use malevolence in the shield, so it requires a blue socket. Here's how we're going to do that. Inside our crafting bench, I'm going to control left click. I'm going to type in the word blue, okay? So I want to have at least one blue socket. I'm going to control left click, and that applies the blue. Because it's an armor-based shield, it's going to try to roll red sockets. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the word socket, and I'm going to socket juggle in my third socket. Done deal. Blue, red, which is exactly what I want. And then the final piece, toss on that fusing orb. Done deal. Now that's our fully connected shield. And if we price check this just to get a little taste test as to what's going on, we have life on block, we have hunter influence on life, and let's check and see what the shield goes for. There's nothing even like that. If we're to maybe take away the all res, let's see if there's any options. Still no. What about max life 174? Still nothing. And I believe that's because the hunter is there on 5% life. Let's see. So 40 divine without that. The fact that we just have the reservation efficiency in life, we're in the ballpark of 9, 10, 15, 12 divine. So we didn't spend that much on it. I would say I spent a little bit more chaos on the matron than I wanted to, and I spent a little bit more chaos on the life force than I wanted to, but you understand the process, right? That's about it. If we combine the Awakener orb at 4 divine and the Hunter's exalted orb, if we had to buy it and we didn't want to buy a shield for some reason, that'd be 5.7. We're not even close. Oh, Shapers as well for what, 76 chaos? We're not anywhere near these prices. You don't got to pay for that, and you got a better shield at the end of it. Hope this video helps you. Keep practicing. You can get a higher fire resist roll. Thanks for checking out the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.